You know, excuse me. I stole for the. Thank you for. It was unexpected outlets. Not when I. Done. It will. I think without. You know, excuse me. I stole for the. Thank you for. It was unexpected outlets. Not when I. Done.
Creepy Biden is starting to look like Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail, trying to prove that his masks do work, that the tests do work, that their philosophy on COVID does work. But what we're going to see is that it doesn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting the big breaking news that Creepy Biden has called the lid on the day once again. His schedule looks worse than Hillary Clinton at this stage. Remember how she was napping and coughing? Maybe she had the COVID back in 2016. She ended up collapsing. Moo cows were broadcasting live on Stranger Than Fiction News. How's everybody doing out there? But, you know, the images, you know, over the past couple days are quite disturbing, not to mention that nobody's showing up to the Biden rallies, yet all of the polls say that Biden is up by like 20 points, doubled his lead since the debates, that Biden won the debates, and, you know, it's like these people are smoking crack, obviously, and they're just making it seem like Biden is winning so that when they steal the election, it looks genuine, but it's anything but genuine. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're seeing on the television these days is nothing but propaganda, nothing but fake news. And right now it seems like everybody's infected with the virus. Everybody's looking low energy. And of course, you've heard the reports. Chris Christie, many of the people that attended the Rose Garden celebrations are now COVID positive. There's no stopping this virus with or without a mask. It doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, the mask probably makes it worse. And so it's just a matter of time before we see more names show up on the positive side. Of course, we've been covering this over the past couple days, couple weeks, couple months, and it just seems like it never ends. It's still here. The virus is still here. And people are wondering what happens next. Of course, unless you think there is no virus, then you must think that things are really messed up, like they're trying to steal everything away from you. I think this winter will end all speculation when it comes to this virus. Of course, they're all actors. We're watching the chat right now. You know, of course they're all actors. In fact, you know, Trump was probably picked because he was a better actor than the other actors. It's all skull and bones, but there's a big difference between these two candidates. Creepy Biden will shut down America forever. And with Trump, at least, you know, we can pretend like we're at Disneyland, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, which would you rather have? Which do you prefer? The total lockdown or some sense of normal? You have to remember how we got here, of course. The entire world was nuked with a bioweapon. Everyone's been infected, and the story is only going to get worse according to the research. Of course, many people don't want to hear that, and we can certainly understand that. But right now, the big breaking news is that Creepy Biden has canceled all events for today, and he's been seen sniffling, coughing. Let's play the clips. This is like right after the debates. Perhaps, you know, he brought it there and infected everyone. We don't know.
Done. I think without, you know, excuse me.
Creepy Biden definitely has the COVID. In fact, everybody's hearing the dry cough everywhere. Everybody's hearing the COVID cough everywhere right now. But Biden's definitely got it. His mask doesn't work. They're running around out there like their masks are superior and that they know what's going on. They have no idea what's going on. And these people, have basically single-handedly destroyed America so that they can win an election, essentially. Have no doubt that this virus, this pandemic, has come from the left. Fauci, Bill Gates, the CDC, the works. They've all been deep state since the beginning. And the fact that they were pumping Trump up, full of experimental drugs really doesn't make anybody feel better either. They're probably trying to kill him right there at the hospital, make it seem like, they did everything they could. But essentially, this is a war on ideology. These people on the left, want to invert the world. They want to turn everything upside down, make a man a woman a man, and the like. And it's just, an abomination on so many different levels. It's like watching, just freaks want to freak out, essentially. And while that wouldn't be a big deal, they want to educate your children, they want to molest your children, and the like. And, the outcome has become a tragedy on every metric. The world we grew up in is fucking gone, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's, something, right out of science fiction. How's everybody doing out there? We're broadcasting live on the ScrewTube channel. Right now, it seems like Biden has the COVID, the masks that he's wearing don't work. The tests don't work, obviously. Otherwise, creepy Biden would have tested positive. And chances are, Trump has been positive for quite some time. We see the timeline shifting, but, chances are these people have all been infected for months. And, the symptoms come back like herpes. That's basically it. I mean, this virus is like herpes. It doesn't go away. It just keeps coming back. And that's what people really don't understand at this stage. It's a little too early. And maybe when, people understand this disease more like HIV, then, we can have a more serious conversation. But I think history will remember that, everybody treated this virus like it was the flu when it came out of some kind of bioweapons lab. So, like and share. Get everybody in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get an audience going. How's everybody doing? But right now, creepy Biden is definitely showing the symptoms of COVID. His masks don't work. His strategy doesn't work. And his solution is going to be to lock everything down like a good little Nazi. And that's exactly what's going to happen. This vote is about freedom more than anything else. And while Trump may deliver, the vaccine to your door with, Humvee in tow, at least, America will be open. You'll get all of that and more with Biden, but you'll definitely get full lockdown, extremist type of measures like we've seen in Melbourne and other cities. People can't even go outside, really, and the like. So that's what this election is about. It was nice to see all of the Trump supporters in front of Walter Reed bringing the rally to the president. And, even if this was, a big photo op, if you will, it's still, it is what it is. Check this out. ISIS has landed in America. They saw all those videos on CNN and they're like, hey, that looks cool. And this is what we got now. This is like Louisville, ladies and gentlemen. And just look how many of them there are. So people need to get their Boogaloo crews ready and prepare to defend themselves. You never know what's going to happen after this election, ladies and gentlemen. Heartbroken woman terminates baby alone because UK COVID restrictions don't allow more than one person there during the abortion, during the murder of the child. And, the UK is a whole different place, whole different world. And there's a reason why, we broke away. But you look at all of the other countries like Canada and Australia and the like. I mean, they're still living under the boot. Ladies and gentlemen, here's some of the footage from Walter Reed. The rally came to the president. We hear that the president will be back tomorrow in the White House. We don't know how serious it was, how serious it wasn't. But this is an unprecedented, serious situation. And it could just be the beginning of the end. We'll have to see. Nobody wants to talk about if this is a doomsday virus. It's obvious it came out of the lab. The question is, why wouldn't it be a doomsday virus? And if it was a doomsday virus, what do you think they would tell you? You know, stay at home, everything's fine, wait for the vaccine, you'll be okay. It's like the Jews coming into the concentration camps. Oh, you're just taking a shower, no big deal. Wait right here. Don't go anywhere. And that's the thing, they don't want you to run away. If you run away, it makes it more difficult. We're learning that the links between Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates are very real, ladies and gentlemen. And undoubtedly, you know, Bill Gates has been a customer, a happy customer of Epstein Enterprise, and everybody knows what that means. Speaking of the UK, sleepy town of Telford discovers a 40-year-old pedophile ring with more than 1,000 children that were victims. They say the UK is the second biggest child sex trafficking country in the world. Did you know that? It wasn't just the Savile case. It wasn't just, you know, some of these grooming gangs. It's like McDonald's over there. And everybody's getting the Happy Meal. It's really disturbing. That's why I don't trust the British. I like, you know, British people, but I don't trust them. I don't trust their media. I don't trust their news reports. I don't trust anything they say. Period. And there's every reason to be skeptical of anything that's associated with the British press, including our very own liberal press, which is so distorted, so disturbing. Oh, you guys aren't even seeing what we're seeing over here. The video guy is fucking fired. Tired of this video guy. Yeah, you guys weren't even seeing any of this. Way to go, video guy. That's live television for you. I mean, with the COVID, everything's kind of messing up. You've probably noticed. Everything's bugging out, especially the computers, the networks, and the like, but we're not going to go there right now. But the whole system basically is run by a bunch of child sex trafficking monsters. And this is what was disclosed in 2016. And there's been no justice since, just the, you know, the pretend attempt to seek justice on these matters. But there's no Hillary that went to prison. There's no Podesta that went to prison. Jimmy Comet didn't go to prison. There was no raid there. Ladies and gentlemen, this system will never change as long as these two parties are in charge. And it doesn't matter, you know, who wins this next election. You know, we're gonna get it. But creepy Biden is going to be worse. Not only for our freedoms, but for our children as well. But he looks like he's having a real tough time. And according to news reports, they canceled today's events once again. But there's no stopping this virus. You can't put a tampon on your face and think that everything's going to be okay. It's ridiculous. This virus is a bioweapon. It's like a cruise missile. It's a military-grade bioweapon. Like a cruise missile. And these people want to wear a 20-cent mask, or let's say a 50-cent mask, to protect themselves. It's ridiculous. What we've been seeing on television over the past, you know, months, if not years, is ridiculous. There's no even attempt. There's not even an attempt for the news to be fair and balanced. There's no attempt to get to, you know, the core of the story. None of it. You know, it's like maybe it's in the headlines one day and then just disappears. It's like the, you know, CDC report that this virus is airborne. Here one day, gone the next. You never see it again. Any mention of this virus being airborne on, the mainstream news gets pulled like immediately. We've seen interviews of doctors like, oh yeah, and this stuff is aerosolized, and the anchors start to panic. We've got to go for a commercial break. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anything and everything, regarding this virus, this pandemic especially, is basically fake news. They haven't been straight with the American people since day one. I mean, that's obvious. And then they run these poll numbers where they basically poll more Democrats than Republicans and then say, well, look, we polled Republicans and Democrats, but Biden has a 10-point lead because they basically poll 10 more Democrats than Republicans. And this is how dishonest these people are. But I'm sure a lot of people are looking at the polls right now wondering, what's going to happen. I mean, all you really have to do is look at these crowd sizes, right? There is nobody at these Biden campaigns. Nobody wants to show up at all, period. They even mentioned that in the debates and everybody started laughing, even creepy Biden. And they're going to tell you that this guy's ahead when we see, crowds in front of the hospital wishing this president well. And what are these doctors doing? Pumping him full of all sorts of experimental drugs, denying him the hydroxychloroquine. I think people are lucky that things haven't gotten worse. But how can you trust these liberals? How can you trust these Democrats that worship the devil and want to molest your children? How do you trust people like that? They want to talk about haters and hate groups. We found out who the real hate groups were during this little episode of, 1600. You could clearly tell who the real haters are out there. You can tell who the psychos are out there. And we're just supposed to accept it. And not only that, but just hand everything over to them, hand over the keys, and just say, good luck as they run us into the ground. It's hogwash. This whole system is hogwash. And look, we've talked about this before. If they're going to deny your right to free speech online during an election, that means this is not a fair and free election. And that, these results, can't be validated. I don't think anybody's going to stand by these election results, whatever they come up with. And the best is yet to come. We are 1 month away from the elections, and they're already telling us for the first time in American history that we're not going to know the results for months. Why? Because now all of a sudden there's 80 million ballots, mail-in ballots to count, like never seen before. So now we're going to have to wait months for the election results. And, most certainly they're going to tell us, well, who knows when? That, creepy Biden has pulled ahead thanks to mail-in votes, thanks to these 80 million, mail-in votes. And we're just supposed to watch these, sodomites just come into the White House and change the curtains and, play some music and all that stuff. No way. I think most people are just fed up with this system. They're fed up with these people on television. They're fed up with, these corporations that are just, destroying America. America used to be defined by the merchant class, in a sense. Everybody had a business, everybody had a store. Or if they worked for a business, they could work 40 hours and really make a living. But now you're just slaving away for nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, the system has become intolerable. And it's only going to get worse. And have no doubt that, all of this that we're seeing right now is bread and circus. It's just there to distract you and pull you back into the whole election psyop. But, nothing is ever going to change until, we put our foot down and say, enough is enough. And I think people have had enough. Personally, I've had enough of this system. I've had enough of these Democrats. I've had enough of these libtards running around screaming about hatred and racism while they burn the Bible and burn the American flag. They're the hate groups. They're what's wrong with this country. If we had no libtards in America, crime rate would go down to zero. Everybody would look nice. Our streets would be nice. These libtards obviously have to go. And where they go, I don't care. Deport them to Mexico. Deport them to Canada. Deport them to hell, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's there for. Check this out. Another UK vaccine volunteer suffers brain damage. 2 with the AstraZeneca vaccine, and chances are they're all going to do that, but they're going to hide the numbers. They're going to call it COVID, because eventually it's going to come out that COVID causes brain damage all by itself. It's like airborne brain disease. That's what this thing really is. You've heard about amoebas, like eating the brains of little children. That's what this virus does slowly. It's like airborne brain-eating amoeba. So want to go out there without your mask? Please do. Breathe it in. Breathe it the fuck in. Because if at this stage you think there's no such thing as viruses, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I know science isn't for everybody, but look, at this stage, there's every reason to be concerned about what we're seeing out there. And maybe you haven't felt the impacts of this virus for various reasons. Maybe you have type O blood. Maybe you don't go out much. Maybe you get more sunshine than the rest. But, a lot of people, especially these people in these big cities, they're going out, ladies and gentlemen. These big cities are going to collapse. And it's only weeks away. Dark winter has already begun. And it looks like the only two candidates for this election are both showing symptoms of COVID. What is it? Maybe they're acting. Maybe it's the flu, right? There is no virus. There's no such thing as viruses, but maybe this guy's got the flu, But I think this winter will end all speculation, especially if you live in a big city. I mean, if you live in a big city, you've probably known people that are hit by the COVID. If you live out in the country, you probably don't know people that have been hit by the COVID. That's the big difference with this virus. It is a big city killer. And what else can you say other than good riddance? Really? I mean, you look at these cities, San Francisco, right? Portland, Chicago, Baltimore. Pick your city. I mean, it's a dump. And it's become like a death trap with all of these death towers and all of these drugs. Would you really want to send your kids to the big city these days? Have you seen the documentaries like An Open Secret? Oh, America isn't what it used to be. A lot of people think about the golden era, like Leave It to Beaver, right? Remember Leave It to Beaver? Those were the good old days, right? But it's Beaver's generation that fucked it up for the rest of us. They turned into, crack smoking hippies or something. And essentially, they renounced their faith. They went some, Luciferian way and messed up the world for the rest of us. You want to talk about the treacherous generation. But what these people did for America should never be forgotten. They killed it. They had it so good, and then they rebelled. They're like, oh, they're too strict. Check out these Bitcoin farms. warehouses full of racks like this. It's another story altogether. When the media is behind your movement, you are not the resistance. That's the least that you can say. And when you look at, how they continue to essentially, mock truthers, including InfoWars. And as far as I can remember, InfoWars like 10 years ago, 20 years ago was putting out documentaries like Police State, etc. Remember those? Is the beginning of the transition. Look at it now. Police State, Prison Planet. No shit. But essentially, these people have destroyed humanity. And, sexuality, being a male or a female, really is the essence, of the human being. It defines us. And, these people don't even know if they're male or female. Some of them really don't even identify as human as far as we can tell. But that's another debate, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want, your children to look like this is a dude. If you want your child to look like this, then please vote Creepy Biden. Please vote for the libtards. And we could talk all day about, their issues, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're hearing the news that the president was on oxygen. That's easy to believe, knowing what we know about this virus. It makes it difficult for people to breathe, among other things. And it's usually provoked by, organic volatile compounds. Smoke, perfume, deodorants, even cooking and the like can trigger an episode. And getting through those episodes is what everybody would like to do. But not everybody's going to get the remdesivir. Not everybody's going to get the, Regeneron. And nobody's going to get the hydroxychloroquine. And you just have to wonder why. Why is it that we're not allowed to have anything that might help us? Why is it that we must lock down with a mask, stay indoors, no sunshine, and just watch TV? Because these people want you to fucking die. That's why you've got all of these genocide programs out there, like the fluoride in the water, like the mercury in the vaccines, like the pesticides, which are neurotoxins. That's why there's death towers everywhere. It's why they start endless wars and just vacuum up our patriots and send them to hell on earth. This system is about killing Americans. That's what this system is about. All of these politicians, that's their business, to kill Americans. If that wasn't their business, we wouldn't have all these chemicals in the water. We wouldn't have all this autism in our country. There wouldn't even be COVID in the country. If these people really cared about you. But for months they were telling you, breathe it in. You don't need a mask. Go to the Super Bowl. Go to the rallies. These people want to kill you. Medical malpractice in America is like nothing, is like nowhere else in the world. We spend the most and get the least in return. Unless you're Bill Gates. Unless you're Bloomberg. Unless you're Bezos. Unless you're Zuckerberg. Unless you're Obama. But if you're a regular person, you're not getting the real medicine. You're getting the placebo. But these people want to kill you. These politicians, they want to kill you. These people on television, they want to kill you. And these socialist media platforms, these companies from San Francisco, they want to kill you too. That's why they're under the smoke. That's why they're burning like Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's why these cities will fucking implode. And there'll be nothing left of them. It'll be like some kind of, I Am Legend rerun. Where the wildlife and the plants start to overtake the city. They're going to empty. And they're coming to a neighborhood near you. They're going to show up in their Scooby-Doo wagons. They're going to show up with their Antifa and their BLM and their liberal ideologies, and they're going to want to molest your children. I guarantee it. They're coming with their vaccines. And, you know, these people from, you know, the cities, the refugees, are going to end up being your capos. They are going to end up being the community, you know, organizers that go door to door and vaccinate you and rat you out if you don't comply. But these people on television, they're trying to kill you. All of them. You know, all of these eugenics programs are brought to you by all of these people on television. And look, there might be bad and worse. And we know that Biden is definitely worse. But all of these people are guilty. What do you guys think about that? We're broadcasting live. I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the audience. We see Johnny the Bird out there. Jay Hart, Ison Willis, Paul. How's it going? Carney, 68 Charger, MT Cali. Mel Gibson's in the house. Tanya, how you doing? Many more. So what do you guys think? Well, look, if you're just joining us, the big breaking news. I mean, Creepy Biden has got the COVID symptoms bad right now. They're hiding it. But here's a compilation of just like one day. This is just like the day after the debates. Chances are Creepy Biden was already highly infectious, contaminating everyone. And in any case, you know, the masks don't work. Creepy Biden is going to run around saying, oh, the masks work. His masks are best. He knows best. You really think Creepy Biden knows best about anything? Really? At this stage? You know, maybe they should make him, you know, in charge of the retirement homes or something. But this guy isn't ready to lead the country. This guy, you know, couldn't even lead a McDonald's. And even though, you know, I think there's a lot of things to say about, you know, this current administration. I mean, it's all we got right now in politics. You know, Trump may decide to do a Darth Vader and throw the emperor into the tube. That's all you can hope for at this stage. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, people should, you know, basically give themselves every advantage to ride this storm out. There's no point running around out there, you know, breathing in other people's air until we have a better idea of what is really going on. But the masks don't work. And everything they're doing and have done and will do will make this situation worse. That's why I think it's important to call these people out for what they are, because they're all pretty much fucking monsters. Because we wouldn't be in this situation unless, you know, we wouldn't be in this situation had they done their job. Period. And I don't think any of these people were capable of stopping this bioweapon, because the very nature of this virus was basically to doom the world the moment it was released. And I think that happened, you know, long ago. It's been about a year now since the release of this virus. And there certainly isn't going to be anything that's going to put it back into the bottle. But perhaps it could have been a little more straightforward with people. Besides the point, look, we'll let history be the judge of all of that. But from our point of view, the masks aren't going to work. The lockdowns aren't going to work. And they need to come up with real solutions for a real problem instead of pretending like, you know, nothing is going on. And I think we'll leave it there for this broadcast, because going beyond that, you know, right now at this stage, you know, is speculation. We don't know what's going to happen. But everything that, you know, we've seen makes this virus look like a doomsday virus. It's still here. It's still fucking here. And that's the least you can say about the situation. And given what we know about this virus, I mean, this looks like nerve gas. Slow kill style. But we'll talk about that probably next spring more, as it becomes evident that this situation is worse than they're letting on. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Big shout out to everybody in the audience. And until the next time, ladies and gentlemen,